For this video, we're continuing the career pathway map. Last time, we learned how to use the first part of the career path planning process on page 2 of the career pathway map, dealing with discovering and confirming who you are, assessing your God-given design and direction. With the information you gather from page 2, you'll be able to move on to the second part of the career path planning process, which covers discern, identifying your best contribution on page 3. We'll be continuing our case study of John as he works through his career path planning process. Today, we'll conduct a demonstration of helping John work through page 3 of his career pathway map. In addition to helping us understand how to fill up this section of the career pathway map, we will also demonstrate how to simply coach John or guide John in completing his career pathway map. I've asked my teammate Steve to help play the role of John in this demonstration. As the demonstration begins, we'll assume that we've already covered and completed the first 2 pages of the career pathway map, and we're transitioning now into the next section, page 3. Demonstration begins now. Well, that's great, John. Do you feel that you have a better understanding of how God has designed you and how He's directing you as you seek to serve Him?
Yeah, this is really helpful.
Great. Knowing this enables you to move on to the next section of the career planning process. Discern, identify your best contribution. Here, the objective is to discern your best contribution and explore different ministry options. The next step is to summarize the information from the previous page. So look at number 1, God's design and desires summary. Based on the information that you've gathered, summarize how God has made you and the burdens He's placed on your heart. What are some key words and phrases that describe who you are and what motivates you?
My gifts are teaching, evangelism, and speaking God's truth. Is that the kind of thing we're looking for here?
That's exactly what we're looking for. Sure, what else do you have?
I really have a passion for evangelism, to lead people to Christ, to disciple them, and build into the lives of God's people.
Good. Well, let's go ahead and write that down. Excellent. As you look at this statement, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good summary.
Yeah, me too. I really like it. Well, with this clarity on God's design and desires for you, now would be a good time to try to draft a concise personal mission statement. So number 2 is my mission. God designs and calls us for a mission. The next step is for you to compose a clear and concise personal mission statement of the mission to which God has called you.
Okay, let me see. I think it would be to use my gifts and passion for evangelism and discipleship, and then to lead people to Christ and build into the lives of God's people.
That's really good. That's definitely a good start. This personal mission statement is something that you can refine and clarify over time.
Okay.
And before we start to consider different ministry options, there's one more thing that will be helpful. So number 3 is describe what your ideal role would look like. What would be desired elements of a ministry that would allow you to make your maximum contribution as you serve the Lord?
Okay. I think my ideal role would definitely include opportunities for evangelism as well as shepherding people and building the truth into their lives, but also being able to care for them on a personal basis.
Yeah, John, that's great. How do you think this will help you as you consider your best contribution as you seek to serve the Lord?
Well, I really want to ensure that the key elements of my mission and desired elements for my maximum contribution are present in whatever ministry option I consider. Those are maybe some of my non-negotiables.
That's great, but there's a really good reminder down here at the bottom is keep in mind that there's probably no role that is a perfect fit. Actually, the role with significant overlap between your skills and the job description may be ideal for you. Look at the diagram on the right there. The top circle represents you and your desired elements. The bottom circle represents the role you're considering. What you're looking for is how much they overlap. There'll likely be parts of any role that don't include some of your desired elements, as well as some undesirable elements or areas in a role in which you may feel unprepared. So a 60% overlap could be considered a pretty good fit. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I can see how that would be true. We can't always do like everything we want to do, but 60% probably a good fit.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So once you know the type of role that fits you best, you can assess the possible opportunities. So for this next chart, you prayerfully list the different ministry options across the top row. So John, what are some different options that you can consider?
Well, I think I can all stay in my current role as a campus staff on my university, and NSU.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's one good option. What are some other possible ministry options you can consider?
Well, my team leader right now is, I think, moving to another role. So I've been asked to consider possibly moving into that role as the NSU team leader.
Oh, yeah, that's another good option. What are some other possible ministry options you could consider?
Right now, I can't think of anything else.
Okay, I'm sure there are options. Let's try to expand the scope a little bit. Are there other options outside of your current geographical scope?
Oh, sure, yeah. There's, I guess, another possibility, a team leader role that's opening up at LNU in another city.
Yeah, yeah, that's another good option. And maybe we can even broaden your options a little bit more. In our organization, we often just think of upward mobility into leadership positions like your NSU or your LNU team leader options. But another possible pathway could be a professional or service pathway, like capacity or training or coaching role
Okay.
or even overseas mission, or moving into a similar position geographically or across ministries. Does that help you expand your thinking about options?
Yes, I hadn't thought about that, but one role that is somewhat appealing to me might be a new staff training coach.
Yeah.
And also considered possibility of seminary studies.
That's really good. You've got five possible ministry options right here on this chart to consider. But the question is how to decide, right?
Yeah.
So the next step is to list in the left column the criteria that you want to see met for any option. So these criteria may be based on your job fit summary information above, as well as other issues that you may want to consider, like self-development, family needs, health considerations, life balance, things like that. What are some important criteria that any role you consider should meet?
I really want the opportunity to use my teaching gift, and I still want to be involved in direct ministry, though.
Uh-huh.
I want to be developmental for me, where I'm growing. I would like to be able to lead a team. Also, one other thing I would consider at this time, just for stability of my family, I prefer probably not to have to do a move.
Okay, yeah, that's reasonable. Now, all these are good criteria, and it should help you assess your choices. So, how do we score this chart? First is to prioritize your criteria. Not all criteria have equal value, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, give each of your criteria a numerical priority score. So, a top priority or non negotiable criteria would be 4, high
Okay.
priority 3, medium priority 2, low priority 1. Knowing that, how would you rate your criteria?
Well, let's see. I think using my teaching gift and being involved in direct ministry are the top priority.
Hmm.
Being developmental is high priority for me, and being able to lead a team is, I would put that probably a medium priority,
Hmm.
and then not moving. I guess maybe that's more of a preference, but probably more just a low priority.
Okay. Yeah, this is great. Perfect. Next is to rate the probability of how each option meets the criterion. So you can use a score like 1 through 4, 1 being low probability, 4 being high probability. And
Hmm.
then for a weighted score, you simply multiply your criteria priority number with your probability number.
Okay.
Okay, let's pause the demonstration here just for a moment. For the sake of time, we'll demonstrate how to score the first option. But for time's sake, we'll just show you the total scores for the other options. Okay, John, let's look at your first option, continuing as a campus staff on your current campus. What's the probability that you're able to use your gift of teaching?
Well, there are some opportunities in student meetings, but not many. So maybe let's say a two.
Okay. And then if we multiply your priority score of 4 and your probability score of 2, what's the weighted score?
Well, that'd be eight.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So that's
According to
how
my math.
yours is better than mine, I'm sure. So that's how we begin to score here. So let's move on to your next criteria. What's the probability that you're able to be involved in direct ministry?
Well, that's what I'm doing now. That's very high. Most of what I do is direct evangelism and discipleship. So I'd say that would be definitely a four.
Yeah, that sounds right. So what would be your weighted score?
That would be what, four times four, right? Or,
You're right. Uh-huh.
or 16, right? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So next, what's the probability that this would be developmental for you?
Well, it's kind of what I've been doing. So I'm not seeing many new developmental challenges. So I'd probably put that as a one. So one times three, three total.
Okay, sure. The next, what's the probability that you'd be leading a team?
Well, if I stayed on just as a campus staff, its probability would be one. That's going to be the team leader's role.
Hmm.
So one, I multiply that by two for a total of two.
Yeah, yeah. And finally, I'm guessing this position wouldn't involve a move, right?
Yes, that I would be staying here. So that would be one times four for a four.
Exactly. That's pretty easy. What's your total then?
Oh, let's see. I'm getting 33.
Sounds right to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Once again, let's pause. We're going to look at the total scores for the other areas just to see how they play out. So the NSU team leader, the LNU team leader role, the NST trainer role, and the seminary role. Let's go back to the demonstration. What do you notice here, John?
The ministry options with the highest scores, maybe identify the areas where I could make my best contribution. Am I reading that right?
Yeah, I think so. Of course, there's not a magic formula, but yeah, the information may give you some good direction as you're prayerfully seeking God's leading for your life. Well, we'll end the demonstration here. Thank you, Steve, for your help. This should give you an idea of how to fill up and lead someone through page 3 of the career pathway map. Discern. Identify your best contribution. We'll continue the demonstration for page 4 in the next video.